In today's video, I'm going to discuss why it's easier to draw your irons than it is your driver and what you can do about it if you're really looking to hit that little draw shape off the tee. Make sure you check out this video. Okay, that felt more solid. Started right at target, big high draw, really got the sensation I was swinging to the right. It'd be interesting. Jon Watts here from the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me in the indoor studio, and today's video, as I mentioned there in the intro, is going to be about the difference in swing between an iron and a driver to actually create the same ball flight, a draw ball flight. I'm going to give you the simple science behind it to really clarify what you've got to do differently with a driver compared to an iron. If this video does help, make sure you hit the thumbs up, share it with as many golfers as you can, and don't forget to subscribe. Right now, we're going to jump into it. So you may well question why I'm holding a tour stick with a bit of pipe lagging, a bit of tubing here stuck through it. I just thought it'd be simpler to explain this little bit of science, and actually understanding the whys and the wheres can really help us when we're trying to execute these shots on the golf course, because we know what we've got to do differently. So when we're hitting an iron, we're ideally striking a little bit downwards. So for me with a 6-iron, if anything, I'm striking a little bit too much down, but my aim is around 4 degrees, which is sort of tour average there. And the ball is a little bit more centered in my stance, just forwards of center. But if this tubing here is representing my downward angle of attack, and I've got the ball just forwards of center in my stance, you can see as this is pointing down, it's actually pointing a little bit more to the right of the target here. So when I'm striking more down with the ball a little bit further back in my stance, it's easier to get the path and the swing direction going more to the right of the target for me as a right-handed golfer, and that's going to be easier to create that draw ball flight. So for when I'm trying to hit an iron and a driver, I'm not feeling like there's a different swing, but I'll always get my iron a good 4 degrees or so in to out, whereas with a driver, it's probably closer to 1 degree. So I've got to work a little bit harder effectively with the driver to hit the draw, and that's what I'm explaining here. So the downward angle of attack with the ball a little bit more centered in my stance, definitely not as far forwards as a driver, is helping me create a path that's going to the right because we're swinging on an arc shape. So as we're approaching the golf ball here, the club is swinging from in to square to in on that arc. So when we've got the ball further back in that arc and we're striking more downwards, the path is actually going more to the right of the target for me as a right-handed golfer, and that's going to help create that draw ball flight, that in to out path. When I've got that ball more forwards in my stance and I'm ideally hitting up on it with a driver, which is what we really want to see for distance. The average on the tour is a little bit on the way down for those guys, but remember, they're long enough already, might be on the shape they're trying to hit it, trying to find some more fairways. For your average golfer, they're definitely better off hitting up to gain those few yards unless you're already bombing at over 300. So we want an upward angle of attack, and the ball is more forwards in my stance. Now, as I create that, you can see, if I can get this to stay still, you can see with that upward angle of attack here, and the ball more forwards, the path is actually, the swing direction is going more to the left, more inwards. And again, explaining it on that arc shape here, the club, as it's traveling this way, is moving more to the left for me as a right-handed golfer. And as it moves up as well, it'll be moving a little bit more inwards. So what we've got to do if we're trying to hit the draw shape is still create the in to out swing direction. The path has got to still be going more to the right of the target for me as a right-handed golfer. What I've got to do is effectively work harder. So whatever I'm feeling with an iron to hit a draw shape, I've got to do it more with a driver. I've got to create more of an in to out feeling in terms of that path to get it, because the balls move more forwards and because we're ideally striking more up on it. So sorry, this is moving around a little bit, but hopefully you can see that a downward angle of attack, that tubing is pointing more to the right, get that more forwards and moving more up. It did work earlier, moving more up. That tubing is pointing a little bit more inwards to the left for me, as I said, as a right-handed player. So I'm going to hit 2 shots. I'm going to hit a 6-iron and a driver. Well, that's 2 if I can hit them well, so it might be 3 or 4. I'm going to strike a 6-iron here. We're going to look at the path, and then I'm going to hit the driver and look at the path as well. Now, to get that path a similar amount in to out, I think what I've got to feel with the driver is that the path is going a little bit more, as I said, the swing direction more to the right. That felt very solid, started right at target, drew onto target, so hopefully I don't need to hit more than 1 iron. As frustrating as that was, it didn't pick up club, it just picked up the ball data. You will see there that the ball started right, drew onto target. It's finished marginally left, but it's pretty much as close as I'm going to get it. It started 1 degree right of target. It had 447 revolutions of draw spin. So if I click into it, it'll tell me what that axis tilt is, but around 4 degrees, which is a nice little soft draw. It was great, you know, it flew about 185, finished about 190 with a 6-iron. I'm sure that would be in to out by a good 3 degrees, but let's hit one more and see if it will pick it up. Didn't draw as much, but still down my target line. In fact, nearly hit the line. So happy with that. Hopefully we've picked up some club data there just to prove my point. So I got a swing path of 5.2 degrees in to out. So my club was traveling as it approached the golf ball a little bit more to the right of the target because it was definitely hitting on the way down. Let's hit a driver, and I think to get that same feel, I've got to tease a little bit high. To get that same draw path and that same 5 degrees in to out, I've got to feel like this club is actually swinging a little bit more, for me as a right-handed, to the right of the target as it approaches the golf ball. Obviously the club isn't swinging out here. It's swinging to the right, and then it's moving to the left. But the feel I'm getting is how the club approaches the golf ball. And to get that similar path, I've got to feel like my club, as it approaches the golf ball, is swinging a little bit more to the right. Now, got that draw shape, but I actually got that draw shape because that was well out the toe of the golf club. That wasn't out the centre. Would you believe I can hit a shot out the toe? I know you thought everything came out in the middle. God, that was way left. Let's forget that one and do one more. I'm allowed to take 2, surely. I hit 2 good iron shots for you. So that was 1.6 in to out. And it actually felt like I was swinging more to the right than the iron. So the iron, I got 5 degrees. The driver, I got 1.6, which proves my point, even though that was a rubbish strike, that I have to work a little bit harder to hit that draw shape with the driver. The reason that actually overbent is it came well out the toe of the golf club. But if I try and get this path close to the iron here at 5 degrees, I think I've just got to feel a little bit more extreme, like that club's pointing to the right. And using some tour sticks, some alignment sticks could potentially help you there if you're really trying to create that draw shape. Maybe place the tour stick on the ground pointing to the right behind the golf ball, feel like the club is traveling on that line. Obviously it's going to be nowhere near it, but just the sensation to create this similar path if I can. Okay, that felt more solid. Started right at target, big high draw, really got the sensation I was swinging to the right. It'd be interesting to see if I got anywhere near the iron swing path of 5 degrees. As I said, it felt more extreme to me, so I'm hoping I got somewhere there or thereabouts. Well, I mean, so I didn't bother clicking driver, so it'll still be an image of an iron, but 2.5 degrees in to out. I created an upward angle of attack of 5 degrees, whereas the iron, it was definitely on the way down. So there was a difference in angle of attack, there was a difference in path. For me, the driver felt more into out, yet it was about half of the iron. So it's easier for me to turn over that iron from right to left. With the driver, I've got to work a little bit harder because the balls move more forwards and I'm striking more up on it. And that might explain why you're hitting that nice little tidy draw with the iron, but struggling to do the same thing with the driver, potentially cutting it. You've got to work a little bit harder if you want to hit that draw with a driver on changing your swing direction. For a right-hander feeling more to the right, a left-hander would obviously feel the opposite, more to the left of the target. If that video has helped, make sure you hit the thumbs up, share it with as many golfers as you can. Any comments, any questions you've got, put them down below. I'll try and get round to replying to you all. And as I said there at the start, if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing, at least 2 instructional videos a week. Cheers guys, we'll see you soon.